My next guest is a senior advisor to the Ukraine president's chief of staff. He also is a former member of the Ukrainian parliament and is currently a member of the Ukrainian Railways Supervisory Board. Sergei ЛЕЩЕНКO joins us live now. Sergei, thank you so much for being with us. I'm not sure if you heard our reporter Fred Bleiken there speaking in Kyiv, but he was basically saying that the attacks we've seen here across Ukraine, these 80 or so missile strikes, only serve to strengthen the resolve of Ukrainians in terms of the willingness and the determination to defend their country. Can you please just sort of set the scene for us in terms of what happened in Kyiv today?
We see the brutality of a dictator who is the leader of Russia and who started this war 8 months ago to destroy Ukraine as an independent state. And after the collapse of his on-ground military operation, when he is not able to move forward, but he is losing occupied territories before, he is trying to psychologically destroy Ukrainian society and to attack civilian infrastructure and to make Ukraine hostage of this war, to make Ukraine a failed state, because he does not consider Ukraine as an independent state. That is why we are really looking forward to get more support from our partners from the West, from US and Europe, because we are fighting not only for our independence, for democracy in this part of the world, and for global consensus established after the Second World War, when democracy is the leading ideology in this part of the world, not dictatorship, not autocracy, but democracy.
Sergei, Ukraine hasn't yet come out and claimed responsibility for the attack on the bridge in Crimea. Sergei, can you tell me here and now, was Ukraine responsible for that attack in Crimea?
This is the question should be raised to people who are able to command military operation. We have in Ukraine the rule when military operation can be commanded only by military. That is a responsibility. That is why you should not ask me, because I just don't know the answer.
Right.
Because all military operation done secretly.
Okay, so you don't know the answer to that. In terms of though,
I don't know. I am frankly speaking, I shouldn't know the answer, because in the state of war, we have responsibility of different sides on different issues.
When you heard though about the attack on the bridge in Crimea, I mean, obviously it was certainly obvious to many inside Ukraine that there would be some kind of a retaliation, especially since Russia was pointing the finger at Ukrainians. But was a counterattack and retaliatory measures of this scale expected? How much of a surprise were these 80 missile strikes, do you think?
We are in the state of war for more than 8 years. 8 months ago, Putin started the whole total invasion of our territory from all sides. And we are, let's say, mentally, psychologically prepared for the whole number of scenarios. We are not surprised, because the same happened before. And if we are not provided with the support of our partners, it can be repeated. And unfortunately, our cities, like capital of Ukraine, can be destroyed, playground of children, pedestrian bridge, just civilian infrastructure, and just peaceful people will die, because this is not the war against Ukraine, but this is a war against democracy as a regime Putin hates the most. And if you look who is in jail now in Russia, you can see the main opponents of Putin. They are either killed or poisoned or sitting in prison. That is why we are not just defending ourselves, but we are defending democracy as an ideology. I can say this way. That is why I really looking forward to get more support from our partners,
from the United States. Obviously, we've talked many times on this program about the fact that Vladimir Putin is incurring significant losses on the battlefield. I mean, we know that what's happening on the front lines is not going according to his plan. What we saw today in Kyiv is very different in terms of strikes on civilian targets, on bridges, on children's playgrounds, on offices. But does what happened here change the nature of this war? And how should Ukraine's strategy be affected by what happened today?
We have the same strategy. We don't want to occupy Russia. We don't want to put our soldiers' feet on Russian territory. We just want to liberate our land and to defend our territory. This is the main ideology of Ukrainian government, of Ukrainian society. And we are, let's say, more or less understand what Putin gonna do. He will destroy Ukraine. He will destroy Ukrainian army facilities, Ukrainian infrastructure, and Ukrainian civilian infrastructure and civilian buildings, just because for him it's not only the war, but it's also to kill Ukrainians. What happened in Bucha, tiny village around, not far away from Kiev, or Izium or Kupiansk, the same script, the same cooking book recipes how to make people die by dictatorship. And in this situation, of course, we will continue fighting, despite the fact we are provided by military support or not. But of course, if we are provided, we can be more successful with this anti-dictatorship war. That is why we would like to have the support. And these attacks against Kiev will not shock Ukrainians. I met a lot of people today. They have only one feeling. They are not fear. They are not. They are upset and angry. The angriness on Putin is growing up in our society, and people mainly react by providing more money for army, by donating money.
It's sort of
strengthening
the resolve of the Ukrainian people to fight for their country. Sergei Lechenko, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you for
Best of luck to you. Okay.